teaching people how to really just absolutely blow away their leagues.
All right. Well, with that said, Ryan, thanks for being on the program, and you can do your homework. Get ready for next Tuesday. How's that sound, buddy?
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you for your time, and thank you. And we look forward to having a lot more productivity. So thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
As always, Scott, it's always a joy to be on the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. It's always great having you. Thank you. So with that said, Anthony Wood is due on the program momentarily, and some of the things that we're going to talk about with Anthony Wood will definitely be Antonio Brown. And, again, the Jalen Ramsey thing to me just seems to take on a meaning that isn't necessary. But with that said, Anthony Wood's going to talk about it. So here's Anthony. Good evening, Mr. Wood. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
All right. Great to have you on the Sports Exchange. This is our inaugural one on this particular platform, and we're looking for a lot of great productivity out of everybody that's involved, and you're always one of my aces in the hole. So you obviously had some pretty good news, and I would just previewed it before you came on the line. So with that said, let's just lead off with the subject that you say keeps on giving. Take it away, buddy.
Yes, I mean, let's be perfectly honest. These last couple months, Antonio Brown when has he not been in the headlines? Let's be real about that here. Yes, he's back in the headlines once again. Obviously, last time we spoke, he'd just been dropped by the Patriots. Since then, he supposedly retired. He was dropped by Nike. He went on to call out the likes of Robert Kraft and Shan Sharp as well for their questionable incidences in the past. He's re-enrolled at college. However, today he has gone back on social media to talk about how much the league needs him, how much it misses him, and he's got into somewhat of an argument with Giants receiver Golden Tate, and more specifically with Eric Weddle, that's Rams safety, on social media. I'll give you some quotes from that. It's
Sure.
Bizarre, to say the least. It's basically Eric Weddle has said, "You're not making any sense. Glad you're not on my team. Call yourself whatever you want. It doesn't matter one bit to me. Good luck." Antonio Brown has said, "I don't even know, you don't call me something, shut your mouth, Lil Weddle," that sort of thing. It's a bizarre situation going on there, and he's also gone after Sports Illustrated writer as well. It's strange. He's certainly not going to be doing himself any favors. He's not endearing himself to anybody. He's been discussing a return to the league now, despite obviously having just recently said that he's done. Perhaps he's turned back on it, or perhaps this is just for attention. We really don't know at this point in time. His agent has said that there's been communication between himself and other teams. We don't know who, but it's a very weird situation there, and I don't really know what to make of it personally, because to me at least, and I think a lot of people agree with me on this, it seems like there's something going on behind closed doors with Antonio Brown that perhaps maybe he doesn't even realise at this point in time. Something is not quite right with him, and I think I believe he needs some help. I don't know how you feel about this situation.
Oh, well, I think, number one, anytime you lose $30 million because the Raiders let you go because you wanted your way out of there, then you ran out of the house being happy to leave Oakland, that was going to pay you handsomely. You challenge everybody on the planet from Mike Mayock to whoever and make a complete idiot out of yourself. He doesn't seem too intelligent between the years to give up $30 million. Then you have an opportunity to go to New England with a chance to win a ring, and they run you out of there because, you're under such a microscope to make sure you play by the rules. And so many players have rehabilitated their career with the Patriots, but Brown wasn't smart enough and lost even more money. So the guy's probably lost anywhere between $30 and $40 million. So what do I think of it? Not good. And the one word that I always say, Anthony, it's called blackballed, because that's exactly what's going to happen with them. The longer this stuff continues, the worse it's going to get. I hate to say this. I have more compassion for Colin Kaepernick than I do Antonio Brown. Now, I'm not going to get into a political discussion pertaining to Kaepernick, but the reality is, he took a stance in one situation, maybe not the most popular and patriotic one in terms of how things are in the league, but Brown's just a complete idiot. If you can't go ahead and work with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, and the Raiders definitely were looking forward to having you for a while especially as they get ready to move to Las Vegas, Anthony. Then you burn your bridges with the Patriots. You tell me, what do I think of it? I think the guy's outright stupid, and he's got a bigger ego trip than Mount McKinley, because that's pretty big, isn't it? I mean, really, when you think about it. He's telling people that the league needs him. No. Nobody is bigger than the league, and if this guy thinks he is, then my goodness, not a chance. He ain't coming back.
What really bothers me about this is that he posted shortly after he left the Patriots that the NFL had basically, not verbatim, but he essentially said the NFL had just screwed him out of $40 million. But we all saw that reaction that he sent out there after being released by the Raiders going, I'm free. He was delighted. I feel like he's quite simply finding things to complain about and finding reasons to point himself out as the victim rather than the person who's caused all of these problems. And it's just a very bizarre situation, because it's not very often that you get players really go off the wire like this, I guess you could say.
Well, let me give you a couple words I want you to kind of think about, okay? You know, you ever heard of the word delusional?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. You ever heard of the word toxic?
Yes, I think it's fair to say that.
Right.
The
Well,
effect he's having on locker rooms.
Well, right. Exactly. He's toxic in the locker room. He's delusional. And he compounds one big mistake, Anthony, after another. But, you know, and now he's a Central Michigan University Chippewa at school. Sorry, you can't play for the Chippewas, okay? That's no longer an option. Who in their right mind in the Canadian Football League would want to be bothered with him? And the XFL has already said they're not even interested in him. So I don't know where he's going to be playing football next. There's no NFL Europe, and I don't think China would want him either. I don't even know how to develop
maybe
there.
It's time to bring back NFL Europe.
Why not? What the heck? Hey, I thought that wasn't a bad league for many years, but staying on to the subject of this guy, you've had three of the best organizations in football. The Raiders traded to get you there, okay? The New England Patriots were giving you your last chance, and the Rooneys out in Pittsburgh are some of the classiest organizations. And when you talk about an organization like the Pittsburgh Steelers that have only had three head coaches in how many years, from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin, if that doesn't define the word stability, you tell me what the word stability is, Anthony Wood.
Well, what I find particularly frustrating about this situation is that he's coming out of this complaining about the fact that the league won't let him be himself, that he's being, especially when he was with the Raiders, it was a case of they're stopping me from talking, they're stopping me from expressing my opinions, they're stopping me from being me. And he's treating himself as a brand, and yeah, let's be perfectly honest here, he has become a brand in himself, which is fine.
Right.
But you went into the NFL, you knew what you were walking into. You should have known that despite your fifth-round pick, you were going to be scrutinized from day one, and especially after you became so popular. You should have known that you weren't going to be able to change the system. That's just not how it works. So I can't see why he feels there's any validity in complaining about the situation, given the fact that you knew exactly what you were walking into and what this. We're in the 100th season now. It's been 100 years of this. We know it's well established exactly how this is going to run, exactly how you have to behave. It's not going to change just for you.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. You know, in my opinion, you don't go out there and try to say you're going to be yourself in the NFL, okay? Your personality is all well and good, but the bottom line is he's a wide receiver, okay? What you do is you put the uniform on and you go out there and catch passes and you score touchdowns if you can do it, and you make a positive difference on your football team, okay? If they wanted a choir boy, they could probably hire a choir boy, Anthony. They could. They don't need a choir boy. Teams they feel he's a playmaker and he's a talented player, but being yourself means you go out there and become a professional, Anthony Wood. You really do. Be a professional. That's what it's all about.
And I completely agree, and he does not exactly exemplify that. Early on in his career, certainly did. He was a hard worker, and there's no denying his work ethic when he's actually on the field, but he's lost that element of it. He's got that chip on his shoulder. I don't understand why it's still there and why he still feels that's working against him. You've just been guaranteed so much money, and you threw it away.
No question. All right, so from Antonio Brown to Peyton Manning returning. Boy, when I read that one, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I need to hear more about this one. Go ahead. Tell me what you got there on that one, Anthony. Anthony. All right,
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
The wonders of modern technology. It cut out there for a second. But yeah,
No
so
problem.
as you mentioned, Peyton Manning, it looks like a return maybe on the horizon again. We don't know when at this point in time, but his father, Archie Manning, obviously a fellow legendary QB for the Saints for a long time, has said, quote, Peyton, somewhere on the line, would like to be back in football, in ownership or front office. That's very interesting. I mean, look no further than his last GM, John Elway. He did exactly the same thing. He went the same route. Look at the head of the XFL, Oliver Luck. Same thing, obviously not as much of a legendary career in the NFL, but regardless, he's gone that same direction. So does that mean we're going to see Peyton as a GM at some point? Does that mean we're going to see him, say, as a head scout? Or who knows? Or is he going to try and head up a league like Oliver Luck has done? It's going to be interesting to watch, but let's be perfectly honest here. It's going to be a shame once he leaves the airwaves because he's very entertaining on television.
Well, I don't have ESPN Plus, but I can only imagine that if he puts as much preparation into any of those positions as he does preparing, that's another story. I'll shed a little light on that one if you want. Okay, I think that the two most logical places for Peyton Manning would be one with the Tennessee Titans, since he played college ball at the University of Tennessee out in Knoxville, and the other one, Jim Irsay. I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted him to be a part of that organization because let's face the reality, Lucas Oil Field is the house that Peyton built. So, I think those would be two interesting dynamics. I think those two franchises could certainly use what he has. And he has a reputation in those markets. So that's what I think. What about you? Do you think those would be two logical spots?
I agree. At this point in time, those are certainly the destinations you'd imagine him going. And does he perhaps wait another 5-10 years and then maybe look at working his way through the Denver Broncos, maybe as a replacement for John Elway in the end? Who knows? I mean, Elway's no spring chicken at this point in time, so maybe he could be looking at him as a replacement. I can't see why he would leave television right now, given how successful he's been these last couple of years, especially with the ESPN Plus series this year. So I can't imagine it's going to be particularly anytime soon. But what I find particularly exciting about this, though, is seeing these NFL players heading back into the league. Obviously, we've got look at Wes Welker, for example. He's now with the 49ers. You've got Andre Johnson down with the Texans, Brian Cushing down there as well, and you've got a bunch of former players, Mike Vrabel, Tennessee. It's great seeing these former players in the league. I always love seeing that, and I think it'd be great to have him in. I know that another player I spoke to not too long ago, Andre Johnson, I mentioned this now from the Texans. He said himself he would quite like to be a GM one day. So who knows? One day maybe we'll see Peyton against Andre as GMs.
Yeah, I guess Denver would intrigue me. I think if I had to really look at Denver as a possibility, it would definitely be a distant third. But again, you know what? You're right. A lot of former NFL players have made their inroads in there, and John Lynch has done a pretty admirable job with the 49ers. And I'm sure the list goes on and on. Players that have a lot of knowledge certainly like to think that there's a career after their playing days. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I can see that. The only one that I never saw as a fit, for front office was Dan Marino. And I say that because Dan Marino, to me, realizes he's got to work really hard to do it. It's not the old Dan Marino, Dandy Dan look where you're a figurehead. But these other individuals that we're talking about, are certainly worthy of it for sure. So, yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. Unfortunately, a topic that I'm tired of hearing about, but unfortunately we do hear it, is Jalen Ramsey. So, go ahead. Let's talk about Jalen Ramsey.
Yes, I can imagine you're very bored of hearing this story now, especially being down in Florida. But yes, there's more news about Jalen Ramsey, of course, the star cornerback. He's easily one of the best, if not the best, in the league in his position. But he will not be playing for the Jags this weekend. Pardon me.
That's all right.
Our own head coach has released a statement. He has said, quote, months ago into the off-season, Jalen notified me that he was expecting the birth of his second child in late September. We spoke about this recently and again today after practice, and decided that it was best for Jalen to fly to Nashville tonight after meetings to be with his family during the birth of their daughter. He will return to the team when he's ready, and we'll provide an update at that time. But what's interesting about this is that